Come on. Come on. Oh, that's a 6. Come on. Come on. 17. Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm just practicing my rolls for Horrified Dungeons and Dragons because it relies on a D20 instead of the standard system. You want to hear more about it? Cool. Let's take a seat. There we go. So as I said, I'm practicing for the Horrified Dungeons and Dragons edition. If you don't know, Horrified is a board game series of cooperative adventure where individuals band together to fight the horrors of the locations that they're currently at. I was kind of indifferent as I went deeper and deeper into board games towards Horrified, but then World of Monsters brought me right back and got me excited to play the game again. And now we have the Dungeons and Dragons version of the game, which, if you can't tell, uses Dungeons and Dragons IP-based characters and locations and cards. So hear me out. Just listen to this video, and by the end of it, you'll know if Horrified Dungeons and Dragons should be on your shelf. Do me a favor and tell me whether or not you play Dungeons and Dragons, okay? I just want to know that. I just want to know that in the comments below before you watch this video. So talking about the overview of the game, we have Ravensburger as the publisher, we have Peter Lee as the designer, and then we have the theme, which is a band of adventurers getting together and saving the town and saving the citizens in the town before the time runs out. The hook for the game is basically if you like cooperative games and a fun cooperative game that still makes you feel pressured in the right kind of way, this is the game for you. The audience for the game, I would say, are D&D fans, Horrified fans, families who are looking for a family-based cooperative adventure that does, again, as I said, put the pressure on in a good way. The price of the game is $30 MSRP, and I'm pretty sure you can find this game used in about a year from now for about $20, $25, but I'm not gonna lie, $30 is a great price for this game. If you look at my other videos, I definitely critique games based on the price points for the components and whether or not it should even be priced that high. But this game has great art, very, very decent minis, cardboard standees, a lot of cards, a D20, and just a bunch of cardboard shits in there that you need to play the game. Altogether, I think these are fine components for a $30 game. That's definitely not asking too much. And it's available at Target and I believe a lot of local game stores, which if you know Target and you have like the red card, you get for like 10% off or something like that. So overall, I think everything about this game is very reasonable. So let's go ahead and go into the details of the game. For the details of the game, we have the player count, which is between 1 and 5 players. I strongly suggest playing with whatever player count you want. I prefer this game at 2 to 4 players. I don't really do solo games that much, but in a 2-player game, you really just go back and forth, back and forth. But if you're playing with people who are very dedicated to paying attention to the game itself, you can play with 3 or 4 or 5 people, absolutely no problem, no real difference in feel. It just means more things will happen before it gets to your turn. Because at the end of every turn, you draw a card which activates the monsters in a lot of different ways. Going into the weight of the game, the weight for the game is easily just a blanket 2 out of 5. You do have to pay attention if you want to win the game. You do have to be actively involved. No one can just be spaced out if you want them to win the game. It does dissuade alpha playing in this game because everyone has about 5 different abilities based on what you roll in the D20. If you roll like a 1 to 8, you do this ability, and a 9 to 15, you do this ability. A 16, 17, this ability, 18, 19, this ability, D20, this ability. It varies depending on your player, and all of you are classic D&D classes. That's hard to say. You have, the bard, you have the spellcaster, and it's all very well colored, very well themed with the spells in the game, which is a great starting point for introductory players for both board games and cooperative games. Whether you're a kid, whether you're older, it's just enjoyable for everyone. Going to the length of the game, the length, I believe, sits solidly at 25 minutes per player. I can't really say that this game just takes 60 minutes because, as I said, if it's 2 people just going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, we know what we're doing. We're in a good grind. There's no need to communicate with the entire table with, oh, I have this, what should I do on my turn? So we can bang that game out about 40 minutes, maybe 50. But if we're playing with 4 or 5 people, we're really going to see the almost, the 90-minute player count and stuff like that. Because the more people you have to interact with, the more things happen, the less you remember, oh, who has this item? Oh, I need this item. Additionally, with the items spaced out between so many individuals, you're going to have a different feel because if 2 people are collecting the items and then being attacked by monsters, it's going to have a lot more shield power than if multiple people have the same amount of items spread out between all of them, which is very important to know because the game, I believe, actually gets harder with the higher player count. So I think this game, as I said, peaked at like 4, but for me, I'd go between 2 and 4 for the player count and for the time's sake. One of my favorite parts about telling you about these board games are the aesthetics. So go ahead and just take a good look at this. It is very attractive. The board, if you know Horrified, it looks very standard for a Horrified map. But if you look at the nuances and details for the actual location, you have a lot of allusions to various Dungeons and Dragons IPs. You know, you have Skullport, you have Waterdeep, and a lot of people who are into board gaming don't really notice the fact that Lords of Waterdeep is a D&D board game. So it's funny when they play this game, they say, oh, I didn't know that this was this. That's there. I'm like, yeah, so look, the Skulls of Skullport expansion for Waterdeep comes because it's right next to Waterdeep. The Lords of Waterdeep comes from Waterdeep Castle and all that stuff. So a lot of allusions, a lot of nice references if you appreciate Dungeons & Dragons. I myself am a huge D&D fan. I've been DMing for over 15 years now. It's been a fantastic time. So this game was a must when I saw that they're using an IP for the Horrified games. Now let's go ahead and take a deep dive into the game itself. Starting off with the setup time. Setup time's simple. If you're doing it by yourself, it's maybe 10 minutes. So like maybe 7 to 10 minutes. But truly, if you have people helping you out, you can bang the whole thing out in 5 minutes or less. As long as one person puts the card decks shuffled and all that fun stuff, everyone grabs their own character at the same time. You flip the card and like put some of the items at the right locations. Each people set up the monster mats pretty quickly, especially when you play the game more than once. Because when you play it once, you have to read monster sheet. Oh, this goes there. This goes there. If you're playing with a dragon, maybe tack on another 10 minutes just for the dragon mini campaign as well. But overall, I'd say between 7 to 10 minutes for setup. Truly, it's not difficult whatsoever. The teach for the game is also under 10 minutes, between 7 to 10 minutes, depending on how in depth you go and how much and how efficiently you can talk. Because honestly, it's pretty simple. There's a lot of actions on the cards, but truly, like 3 of the actions are the same singular action, which is just activate. Because all you do in the game is you move from one location to another. That's one action. You pick up items from your location. That's another action. You can push a civilian into another location or beckon them. That's each one action. You can roll a d20 to activate your character ability. That's one action. And everyone has the same 4 actions in the game. You just have the ability to do 4 actions on your turn, and your turn's over. So that's why turns can genuinely take less than 30 minutes or 30 seconds if you really know just what you're doing and you're paying attention to the game state. So yeah, the teach is very simple. The mechanics primarily are dice rolling, resource management, and then it's a pick up and deliver game, which I never really considered this to be a pick up and deliver game, but absolutely, without a doubt, once I understood what pick up and deliver games are, it is you pick up some items and then you throw them at monsters. So you have to go to the monster's location and then shove some items down their throat to make them stop breathing. That's the whole game. It's very simple. The specific items don't necessarily matter. Just the color and the strength are the things that you pay attention to. There are 3 types of items in the game. You have yellow, you have blue, you have red. Their item strengths go from 1 to 4, I believe, maybe a 5 in there something, but overall, it's very simple. And yeah, so there's 4 different monsters in the base game that I saw. You have the Mimic, you have the Red Dragon, you have the Displacer Beast, which I'm so happy they threw in there because that's one of my favorite D&D creatures of all time. You have the Beholder, which is the staple D&D monster. Those are only 4 monsters I saw in the game, which was slightly disheartening, which I'll say why in a bit. So let's go ahead and talk about what the game feels like. The game does feel like you're saving the town. You're running around, you're grabbing some items from around town, and then you're just throwing it at the monsters. It's not necessarily D&D. Does not really feel like D&D whatsoever. You roll a d20 sometimes. That's the full effects of D&D, but they did a good job by taking Horrified elements and utilizing a D&D in them, because you would never roll dice this often. For your character ability in the other Horrified games, you just do your action. Everyone has a single starting ability in the game, and then you use that whenever you want to use your ability in the game. But this one, if you want to, you can roll a d20. They have the crit fails, which is a nat 1 is always a crit fail. A nat 20 is always the best thing you want. And then anything else is just not necessarily good or bad, it's just different. So if I roll a d20 and it says, it might say put a monster at any location. If I roll a d20, the card might say, look at the board and then put the monster on the location of the number. And you realize the whole board has numbers between 1 and 20. A crit fail might be just put the monster next to the closest hero. Or a crit 20 would be go ahead and put the monster wherever you want it to be. Which, there's a lot of good things in this game using that d20, but it does not feel like D&D whatsoever. Don't get mistaken, you're not equipping items, you're not leveling up, you're not going on quests, you're just in town, saving civilians, killing monsters, which is some of what D&D is, to be fully honest. Talking about what I liked about the game, I did like the game. I like the art. I like the characters they chose to have in the game. I like the locations. I like the board. The main thing I like about this game that I will talk about that's different than the other Horrified games is a new system that they implemented in World of Monsters. Is this new iconography-based system, because in the previous games, the monster symbol had to be showing in order for it to activate. So a lot of times the monsters just wouldn't do anything in the game. In this case, it's a type of monster. Which is a fantastic addition because now monsters activate a lot more frequently. So if the monster has a sword on it, which you look on it and there's 3 attributes for each monster, that one has a sword on it. Cool, so now 2 of them will move with 1 symbol. There's still a chance that nothing happens in the game, even with 3 of the 4 monsters on the board. But overall, it's a good time. Like, it's not too stressful, but they activate, they get closer, they kill some civilians. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's a welcome change for sure. It makes the game significantly better, even though that's the main fix for it. But that alone, like, upped the game quality, in my opinion. Going into what I disliked, the main thing I dislike is that there's only 3 monsters in the game, which really, really hurts replayability, because one of the fun things is, it would say, like, for an easy mode, play with 2 monsters, hard mode, or medium mode, play with 3 monsters, hard mode, play with 4 monsters. But from what I understand, the Red Dragon is not just playing Horrified, you're playing like its own mini campaign. You have to use the layer token, you have to go here, you have to do this, you have to do that. And although it could still be fun, and I'm not saying that's not fun, I just haven't played with the Red Dragon because I only played the game twice. I want to play against a Red Dragon without playing like a campaign behind it, you know what I mean? I wish there was like a lighter way of using that monster. I wish there were still some other monsters, because usually Horrified has like 5, I think even once or twice 6 monsters in it, but at least 5 monsters in the box. This is the first one they went with 4, and then one of the 4 has to be used in like a campaign-ish setting, which I don't want to do. So truly, for me, the game only has 3 monsters, so which is a pretty big hit, especially since when we played 3 monsters our first time, we won without too much anxiety behind it. Now, the game is difficult, but again, once you're like really good at board gaming, it's more like just a fun time you do, rather than like a serious, critically thinking type of game. And I do like being challenged in the game, and again, multiple symbols fixed that, but still, it's a little bit too easy for me. Now, the comparisons for this game you can make are the other Horrified games. If you like the other Horrified games, you'll like this game. If you like this game, you'll probably like the other Horrified games, as long as the IP isn't the reason you like this game. Additionally, though, I'll throw in Marvel United. If you don't know, Marvel United is another location-based gameplay where you're taking down different enemies and you have to defeat them in order to get to certain places in the game. But I would say about that one is significantly different because there's a lot of expansions to it, a lot of different locations, a significant vast amount of replayability, and every character you play as, and there's hundreds of characters, I believe, at least 100 characters in Marvel United between the 3 seasons so far, and now you can actually use DC United unofficially with the Marvel United characters and vice versa. And there's so many enemies. There's just many enemies, just many like smaller locations, like the challenges, where it is a similar feeling of a family weight difficult challenge, where it's not going to be like super die-hard difficulty. They have some bosses that are insanely difficult, like the Infinity Gauntlet mode. I believe the Sinister Six mode and some other things are like very difficult and very challenging. But overall, it's not too hard of a game. You can play with kids, you can play with family. It's a nice, familiar IP for those who do enjoy those IPs already. Now, for my final closing thoughts, we have a few different things. We have, would I purchase this game? The game is cheap. $30, I would buy this game. I liked it. I would probably wait for a sale for like 2025, so I'm very fiscally responsible. But truly, if I really, really wanted this game, which I did for a bit, and I knew it was $30, I would go out and buy this. I thought it was 40, so I was staying away from it. But 30 is a great price for this game. And again, you go to game stores, you go to Target, it's affordable. You can buy it off the Ravensburger's website for $30. The good for the game is that it's nice, introductory, friendly co-op if you're new to board gaming. But the bad is the fact that there's not too much replayability if you don't want to do a campaign. On top of the fact that if you are like a die-hard board gamer, it's going to be like definitely easier for you than if you weren't. So the replayability, I would replay the game too. So I want that known. I would still replay the game. It's just, with the Red Dragon. The last and not least thing that I do that I love to do in these videos is my final ranking. Every single game I play and do a video on are ranked from the game I want to play the most, the game I like the most, the game I want to stay away from the most, and I like the least. So this game sits at a comfortable 59 out of 110, which is almost right there in the middle. It's very, very neck and neck with Marvel United. Marvel United is 57 out of 110. It has the same challenges of being a little bit too easy at times, but the only thing about Marvel United is significantly more replayable. It's an entire fantastic system as opposed to being just a core box. Even though Horrified, for the record, is coming up with a feature to allow other monsters to be used in other base games, so you can play the game with a whole slew of replayability. So yeah, This game is ranked 59 out of 110. It is right underneath Nova Luna and right above Santorini, which I did a few videos ago. Nova Luna, if you don't know, is a very strategic, thinky, planning type game. I believe it's made by Rainer Knizia, who's known for his like mathematic logical games. Santorini is a fun two-player, also replayable, like asymmetric player ability chess-like game. So if you like that sound, go and check out my video in my channel. But yeah, I like this game fine. This is a decent game. I feel like the middle range is like right there in the good. You know what I mean? It's fine. It's good. I like it. I feel it's 10 spaces lower. Maybe don't play it. But where it is right now, it's a good game. Thanks for being part of this community. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to support us more, go ahead and go to the description below, go to the comment section, and join our Kickstarter that's coming out in February of 2026. We're launching so much there, and it's going to make or break this channel. So if you want to see what's going on, make sure to follow. That's everything for today. Make sure to subscribe if you like the video, if you like the video, and comment below. Peace out. Have a great day. God bless, and I hope to see you at a table soon.